Okay, allow me to share my screen with you. Okay, so yerno and la nuera, my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law. So we finished. So once I finish these cards, because I'm always on the lookout for more information, I found more information that I had, but lightly. And it's about the stressed A. Now, this is a part, the other stuff you basically have to memorize, but this part, not, you have to do more than memorize. You have to be able to hear the language and where the language is stressed, how it's stressed, right? So here's the rule. I'm going to show you my card. Nouns that begin with stress, with the stressed A, that's where the accent is, are modified by L and not la. So so we're talking about feminine nouns, right? So feminine nouns that begin with the stressed A, agua, it's not agua, it's agua. The A is emphasized. If this did not follow the rule, and the rule is that the stress is normally on the next to the last syllable. But if you only have two syllables, then it's the first syllable. But that's only if you only have two syllables. If you have three syllables, then the stress is on the second syllable or the middle syllable. So you have to know that, and you have to be able to hear it, right? So if the stress were on the last syllable, number one, it would need an accent. And number two, there would not be a problem, and you could put la agua, but there is no such thing as la agua. That doesn't exist. It's agua. And because the stress is on the first syllable, which is the next to the last syllable, because it's only two syllables, right? You don't use la. You don't say la agua. Now, for me, it sounds okay. I don't have any problems with it. But in Spanish, there's like a conflict. In French, all they would have done was remove the A and put an apostrophe, but not in Spanish. In Spanish, you don't have L apostrophe like you have in French. So if you have the stress A and the la, that's considered sounding bad. There's even a special word for it. I forgot the word, frankly. So what you do is you change the la to L. So it's El Agua. But if you remember in the cards, way back, I forgot in what packet. But if you're going to now say waters, las aguas, it goes back to feminine. This is only when it's feminine noun, stressed A, singular. Only when it's singular. Once it's plural, then it's that S between the A in la and the A in the word. So I'm giving you a group of these words. As you can see, I change it up a little bit. I love colorful cards. The first set of cards, colorful, but all the same color, all the same font. Here, because I did this a little bit later and added on, I changed the fonts in the cards, and I changed the colors, and they're bright colors. It might help you to remember. So I'm going to oops, no, I don't want to move it. I don't want to move it, but I do want to move it down. And a lot of these words are very common words in Spanish. Okay, once again. Now, if that were uppercase rather than lowercase, águila. It's not águila. It's not águila. It's águila. So the accent is on the first A, right? Now, according to the rule of the language, because it's 3 syllables, the accent should have been on gi, 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 gi. But that's not how, you don't say aguila, you say aguila. So that A, if it were in lowercase, would have to have an accent. And it's el águila. But if it's plural, las águilas, no problem. Still have the A with the accent. And it means eagle, by the way. Okay, here you have another one, Allah. It's not Allah, it's Allah. The accent is on the first A. But once again, it follows the rules, so I don't have to put the accent mark. The accent's there, but I don't have to put the accent mark because it follows the rule. It's the next to the last syllable. Well, it's only 2 syllables, a and la. So a gets it, but it's el ala. But las alas. Alba, once again, I just gave you the rule because I tend to repeat myself 1,000 times. So I'm not going to do that this time. You got the rule, and now you know why it's el alba, even though alba is feminine. Okay, once again, if this were written in lowercase, the a, the first a, would have an accent on it because it's algebra. It's not algebra, it's algebra. So the first a, the first a is accented, and you have to put the accent because otherwise it doesn't follow, because it doesn't follow the rule. And look at that la. I noticed that the a is in blue. I don't know why. Sometimes your programs cooperate and sometimes they don't. But you can understand it. Okay. Now, some of these words like seaweed, I don't think you have to know the word seaweed, but it's good. You never know. Okay. Alma. And it's a very popular girl's names too. I used to know the secretary in La Universidad Intercontinental, and her name was Alma. Ama de casa, housewife. You see that A is accented because that's where the accent is, and because it doesn't follow the rule. Because the rule is when the word ends in a vowel, it's the next to the last syllable. Well, this has 3 syllables. Once again, the accent because it doesn't follow the rule. I'm gonna do a video on accents. It's one of the last, well, because I'm going to probably learn a lot more about Spanish and about English that I don't know now. So no. You see, I make it different colors, different fonts. Sometimes, very standard, but sometimes I'm not. But notice all these words begin with the A. And on all these words, the A is what has the accent. The first A, not the last. Let's see here. This is a cognate straight down, asthma, asthma. Abe, verb. Although in English you don't say ave, but you do say aviation. That comes from the same source. Flying, right? Ave, but when you say aviator and aviation. Habla is also the he, she, and it. The el, ella, y. There's no it in Spanish. El, ella, instead of the verb hablar. So it's a noun. It's one of those few words that's a noun, as well as the conjugation of the present tense, present indicative of the verb hablar. Hambre, which is different from hombre, don't forget. Okay, nouns that begin with a stressed a, but are modified by la. So you do say la a. And you do say la h. Even though there's a conflict, this is an exception of an exception. Okay. And this is an irregular modifier. Oh, yeah, the MA. I have forgotten that. So I just attached it on. It's a little bit different. Okay, so that's it. Those are all the nouns, irregular nouns, that as of now that I have. As I go through the language, learn more about the language, I probably will find more irregular nouns, and then I'll do a whole new set. Because I know that's not just it. You know, I'm not doing a whole new set. So this is Coralla Ficklin McLean. Welcome, WYLCONE. And I have just been showing you all the irregular nouns that I have researched and collected and put into a video, put it on cards and into a video. You know, anytime you want to, you can stop the video, copy down the noun, you know, learn the irregularity, or just learn vocabulary. So this is Coralla Ficklin. Welcome, WYLCONE.com. Also, we have other websites. One is Repeat, REPEET. So thank you. Please subscribe and please share. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.